श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So yesterday for the past three classes we saw what is the overall view of an introduction to Vijnana Bhairava, and an overall view also. What are the different kinds of dharanas and all that. The base for those dharanas and all that. Now we enter the text proper. Now there are different versions of the text which are available. The versions can be with respect to the meaning or with respect to the words. With respect to the meaning also, in the sense like one text takes each shloka and translates it through different commentaries. I'm talking about. There are commentaries of Kshemaraja and Upadhyaya, Shivopadhyaya. That is one commentary. There is another commentary, Bhattananda. So they take it in different ways. Like one translates the shloka by shloka. The other person translates the first shloka. Instead of taking one shloka, he takes us one of shlokas. First shloka and the first half of the second shloka. In this way, when he translates, he is giving a sensible meaning to that shloka rather than fixing himself to the first shloka. So this is meaning. Words, we don't have to go further down. The first word itself, Shri devyuvāca, rather the second word, devyuvāca. Shri is common there everywhere. Uvacha is common. The Devi, instead of Devi, you can see in some other readings as bhairavyuvāca. Though calling her Devi or Bhairavi is not a problem, because we already said this interaction between, it's a dialogue between Bhairava and Bhairavi. Bhairava and his consort Bhairavi. Then you should say Devi. That is also not wrong. Why? Because in the first shloka, the beginning itself, śrutaṃ devam, śrutaṃ deva. Devi herself calls her husband Deva, or calls her consort Deva. Deva. If he is Deva, then she is definitely Devi. If he is Bhairava, she is Bhairavi. Simple. Okay? So whether you call the goddess Devi or Bhairavi is not a problem here. Okay? Shri Devi Uvacha śrutaṃ deva mayā sarvaṃ yāmaladishu bhāṣitam trikabhedamaśeṣeṇa sārātsāravibhāgaśaḥ adyāpi na nivṛtto me saṃśayaḥ parameśvaraḥ. Beautiful introduction. śrutaṃ deva mayā sarvaṃ yāmaladishu bhāṣitam trikabhedamaśeṣeṇa sārātsāravibhāgaśaḥ adyāpi na nivṛtto me saṃśayaḥ parameśvaraḥ. Hey Deva, O God, O Lord, sārātsāravibhāgaśaḥ, with the essence and non-essence, with the essence and non-essence, essence with the essence, which is in short, in brief, and in expansion. Even the briefest of the brief, the essence of essence, in that division, vibhāgaśaḥ, in that division, as essence and an expanse, in that division, trikabhedam, the Trinity, aśeṣeṇa, completely, Yāmaladishu bhāṣitam, that which is said in the Yamala etc. text, sarvaṃ mayā aśeṣeṇa śrutaṃ, all that is completely heard by me. There is nothing that I didn't hear. Everything is already heard by me. So why are you asking again? Well, that's the nature of women, right? To doubt. No, here you should not bring in these stupid logics, because here the goddess is not someone who is different from the god. It is his own alter ego. It is his own other part, knowledge part. Okay, so she says, adyāpi na nivṛtto me saṃśayaḥ. Even now, my doubts are not completely eradicated, removed. Hey Parameshwara, therefore, please explain this. That's the idea. Okay. Before beginning this text, the Kshemaraja, etc., acharyas, they give an introduction. They talk about the creation. What is the creation? How did the creation come into existence? Purva dasha unmesha vashat utravastha jagat avastha nimishavat. See, simple. How is this creation? The creation is like a blinking of eye. You close the eye, the creation becomes extinct. Open the eye, it manifests. Because we saw there are 5 aspects of creator, Ishvara. One is the srishti, sthiti, laya. The manifestation, the sustenance, and the unmanifestation. The margin. And it emerges from him and merges into him. And in between, he sustains them. Then there are 2 more specific, which is not accepted in other philosophies. In Shaiva's tradition, this is accepted as 2 special works of Shiva, which is a Nirodha and Anugraha. Nirodha and Anugraha, we call Nirodha and Anugraha. Nirodha means to control him from going wrong way, and Anugraha means to bless him. But the Shaiva tradition says it as Tirodhana and Anugraha. Tirodhana means wheeling your inner nature, and Anugraha blessing you. In that way, if you are going to say, that is how they explain it. But then what happens is the Ishvara is playing games with you. Through his whims and fancies, he is making you do all this. I should not be in this situation, but it is because of that fellow who wants to play with me. So he has put me in this situation. So I'm stuck. And suddenly he decided, okay, let me get rid of this fellow. So he gave me realization and got rid of me. So then it will become a problem. So Nirodha Anugraha, he controls us and he blesses us. He stops us from wrongdoings and blesses us. That's the idea. Okay. Now the creation. The creation is when he closes the eye, then there is a dissolution. When he opens the eye, there is emergence, there is creation. This is the idea which is said in the other places also, like Nataraja statue. Nata means dancer, Raja means king, the king of dancer. The king of dance is a Nataraja, where he has his one leg lifted up and the other leg placed completely on the ground. Okay. Now, there is a story similar to the story which they say regarding the Mahabharata story. There is this Mahabharata story. This fellow this lecturer was giving a lecture on this Mahabharata story. During the discussion of Bhagavad Gita, a good illiterate person, he's a very good-hearted, kind-hearted person. He said, Swami, please stop the class today. It's enough. And this lecturer, he said, what? Are you feeling sleepy? He said, no. It is not problem for me or you. You can go on lecturing and I can sit here, whether I understand or not. That is not that. I can sit here, but the problem is not that. Then what is the problem? Krishna is turning behind and lecturing Arjuna. He will have neck pain. So let us stop it here. Let us continue tomorrow. Let him take some rest. So something like that happened in Tamil Nadu, where Shiva, the beauty is Shiva is lifting his leg, one leg, and has the other leg placed on the ground. This king, he was taken aback. He says, you've been standing like this for so long. You will have pain in your legs. So please change your legs. And as a play, as a leela, Shiva did that. What is that? One leg down and one leg up. Changing it. What is the leela there? Grace there. So if you ask, then that is what is the grace. That is what is the important point of the story, which is the creation and dissolution. The story with regards to Nataraja is when he has his leg up, that is creation. When he puts his leg down, that is dissolution. It is binary, 0, 1. That's how the whole computer system or your cell phone system works. Now he says he lifts his leg, and if he changes his leg, one dissolution and another creation. That is how it should be. But through his grace, he stopped that dissolution and that creation, and he maintained the same state even after changing the legs. So unmesha nimesha, he's blinking, he closes eyes, shuts his eyes, then that is dissolution. He opens his eyes, then that is creation. So that is the kind of a creator we are talking about, Ishvara, Shiva. But wait, then he has activities. No, he does not act. Then who acts? The activity of Shiva is attributed to the Shakti. There is a vibration, spandha they call it, a spandha, because of which the creation comes into existence. Shiva inherently is a person who is not involved in activities, because any activity presupposes two other possibilities, two other stages, which is a desire for that action and the knowledge of that desire. So desire, knowledge, desire, action. This is the order. Jnana, Ichcha, Kriya. So Shiva should have this Jnana, Ichcha, Kriya if he has to perform an action. The logicians accept this Jnana, Ichcha, Kriya of Shiva as eternal. Meaning he desires to create, then the creation will be going on and on and on. He desires to destroy, then there will be a desire or destruction going on and on simultaneously or something. Does not really matter. It's eternal, so it will be always on. So then they'll have, if we put this doubt, then they'll say on one side there will be creation, on the other side there will be dissolution. Does not, on the third side there is sustenance. There is desire for sustenance also. There, it will take time for the first to get destroyed in the last. It will take time. But that is not how Shaiva Siddhanta accepts. It accepts the Jnana, Ichcha and Kriya, the knowledge, desire and activity of Shiva, to be non-associated with Shiva. He says, Anashirita Sadashiva. Sadashiva is one who is not associated with him. Okay. Now, when did this creation then come into existence? If he is not associated. In the complete Abheda state, identical state of Shiva and Shakti, which is para, which we call it as para, there is no creation. But when Shiva slips from that state, because of whatever reasons, so he comes into the state of Pashyanti, Madhyama and Vaikhari. We saw that with reference to the japa and with reference to the pranayama first. So in the para state, which is the supreme state, there is complete identity. Then there is a seed state, Pashyanti. Then there is a word object, word meaning subtle duality. Then there is a word meaning gross duality called Vaikhari. So in the para state, there is no creation, but in the Pashyanti state, from the Pashyanti state, though it is subtle creation, there is seed of creation. That is what matters. So everything comes into existence. That Pashyanti state is the knowledge aspect, which is the Devi state. Some with Devi. No, Devi is of the nature of knowledge. So when she wakes up as knowledge, then she asks the question. That is when the question starts. And the deva, the Shiva also, as though he sees himself to be different from the Devi, he though is not an object of sense organs internally or externally, he as though has this dialogue with the Devi. Okay, so that is how the dialogue starts. So Shri Devi Uvacha. Shri Devi Uvacha. Devi, she said. Uvacha means said. Vacha paribhashani, to speak. She said in past tense. Uvacha. Vacha vacha uvacha. Uvacha. In the past tense, there is doubling, etc. Therefore, uvacha it becomes. Now there is a problem. Uvacha means she said something in the past. That is not how we accept. Like for the people who take Jiva Samadhi. Jiva Samadhi means while alive, they enter the pit and cover themselves with mud and all that. They give up this body association while alive. So when they do that, those jnanis, those liberated souls, the exit period, the Samadhi period will not be a fixed day. It can be celebrated on any day. Similarly, for this Devi, you cannot say a past tense period because she is always in the form of knowledge with Shiva, inseparable. All the time, space, etc. comes into existence only when there is a duality. So, this kalpa, etc., kalpa, day, masa, all these don't exist in them, in between them. Samarasya, there is a ekarupa, there is a non-duality there. Therefore, like today, this Devi of the nature of some with knowledge, in the state of Pashyanti, etc., she as though asks. That is the secret which the Acharyas accept here for the Uvacha word. It is like I am the one who was in sleep, is in who in sleep is in waking state. The one who is in sleeping state is the one who is in waking state. When we say that, we don't see the duality in person. Similarly, here also there is no past, present, future duality in the person. That is why when we say Devi Uvacha, we don't translate it as a Devi said, but Devi says. Okay? Now, what did the Devi say? Hey Deva. That's the Sambodhana. That is the she calls him. Hey Deva. Deva. What does Deva mean? From the root word divu upachaye, to grow. You can accept Deva. Same word Deva. But the problem is if you accept it as divu upachaye, to grow, then the Shiva whom we are talking about, hey Deva, Shiva is one who grows, who transforms. Then what it means is that which undergoes transformation is one which undergoes destruction. Change means destruction. That cannot be accepted. So Deva is not from the root meaning divu upachaye, growth, but from the root word divu prakashane. Because Deva, Shiva, is of the nature of prakasha vimarsha. Prakasha vimarsha. He is the one who is the effulgent form. He is the one who is seen in this expanse of creation also. Okay? Now, so he is the one who is illumining as a play the whole creation. Therefore, he is the Deva. Who is that Deva? Swatman, the self. That is what we call as Deva. Deva, śrutaṃ, I have heard. When did you hear? I didn't tell you anything. How can you hear without me saying anything? You are hallucinating. No. Why? Because aikyovatyashutapurvamevasti. Since we are not separate, we are inseparable, we are identical. Therefore, whatever you know, I know. Whatever you understand, I understand. That is the kind of thing. So I understand. How can that be? Darpana pratibimba nyayena. That is the logic we use. When you stand in front of the mirror, the one who stands in the mirror is who is reflected in the mirror. Now, if I spit on the mirror image, you are hurt because you see an identity. Similarly, the case here also, the Shiva and Shakti, they are inseparable like the reflector and reflection. Now, therefore, whether it is separate or inseparate does not really matter. Whether it is internal or external does not really matter. All the three forms, trikabhedamaśeṣeṇa, trikabheda, all the three forms of Nara, Shakti and Shiva, or para and apara. Whichever form you want to, or Pashupati Pasha, whichever form you want to, all these three states we are going to hear here again and again. This is the trinity of Shiva, Deva Siddhanta. So, śrutaṃ, where did you hear? From you. Which text you are talking about? Yamaladishu. In the rudrayāmala, etc. text. What is Yamala? Yamala means couple. Here, it is a Shiva Shakti Sanghatanatma Hetu. There, where the association, the identity of the Shiva and Shakti are said. In those texts called Yamalas. What kind of Yamala are you talking about? There are multiple Yamalas. That's why we are asking what kind of which Yamala you are talking about. That is why we have to say rudrayāmala. What are the other Yamalas? It can be Brahma Yamala, it can be rudrayāmala, it can be Vishnu Yamala, it can be bhairavyuvāca, like that, it can be anything. If it is Brahma Yamala, it is the dialogue between Brahma and Brahmi. If it is rudrayāmala, it is the dialogue between Rudra and Rudrani or Rudri. If it is Shiva Yamala, it is the dialogue between Shiva and Shakti or Shiva and Shivi. If it is Vishnu Yamala, it is dialogue between Vishnu and Vaishnavi. So this differs. Bhairavyāgana, therefore Bhairava and Bhairavi. So in this Yamala text, which is the Shastra named that, the Agama, where rudrayāmala, we already said Rudam Dravati or Rug Dravati iti, Dravayati iti Rudra, one who dispels or destroys or crying or the disease, which is samsara basically. Whatever Yamala text you take, Brahma Yamala, Brahma inherent nature, okay, forget it. Vishnu Yamala, Vishnu means Vishulruvyapto, Parveshnu, all pervading, omnipresent state. Limited is a problem. So limited is samsara, unlimited is Vishnu. Then Rudra. Rodam means crying. Crying is because of the pain of samsara. Rudra is one who destroys it. Bhairava, Bhiru, fear of samsara. One who is devoid of that fear is. So everywhere in the Yamala text, the removal of samsara is what is spoken about. So rudrayāmala granteshu. Now Bhairava, you said Bhairava and Bhairavi. What Bhairavi? Like Bhairava, the synonym is Bhairavi. We are not even talking about the antonym. We are talking about the synonym. Bhairava, Bhairavi. They are both same. So Bhairava, so Bharana, Ravana and Vamana. Can we understand the same thing? You can understand the same thing. He is adding some more meaning to it, some more depth to it. He says, it is not just that. It says, mayā shakti swarupe tata ananyataya. See, Maya, etc., through the Maya, etc., Bhairava himself presents his form in a feminine form of Shakti. Because of the identification, Bhairava and Bhairavi are not different. The Tadatmya, we call it, that complete identification with each other. That Bhairava himself gains the name Bhairavi. No. One who holds on to everything without being separated from his inherent nature is Bhairavi. Or for whomever has the fear of samsara, one who blesses them because of the hitakartri, means one who desires their well-being, desiring their well-being, thinking about their well-being, one who dispels their fear and gives them fearlessness, he is Bhairavi, she is Bhairavi. Or people who have the fear of samsara and are troubled, pained, ravatam, are pained by that samsara, for them, one who gives them the liberation through the parameśvaraḥ, to remaining their inherent nature. She is Bhairavi. In the form, and who shines in the heart of those people by reminding them of their true nature in the form of ananda, bliss. That is, she is Bhairavi. Okay. Now, this Bhairavi, whether in the general form or specific form of Naranari, etc., of new duality or non-duality, does not really matter. She shines there. Now, that Rudra, that Shiva, what is his nature? About that it says, Adrishta Vigrahat Shanta Chivat Paramakaranat Dhvani Rupam Vinishkrantam Shastram Vanamadurlabham. We are talking about rudrayāmalasambhavam, trust, Shastra, the text. What kind of text is it? He says, Adrishta Vigrahat rudrayāmalam, because for rudrayāmalam he says Tachakti Samarasyaatmano Yamalat. The Ekarasata, Samarasata means Ekarasata. The identity, the complete identity of Shiva and Shakti is Yamala. The couple means not of duality, of a singularity. So that is Yamala text. And who is that Shiva you are talking about? Adrishta Vigraha Chanta Shivat Paramakaranat Dhvani Rupam Vinishkrantam Shastram Paramadurlabham, from whom the Shastra came into existence. So what is that Shiva? What is this Shastra? For that, this shloka is a beautiful explanation. This shloka is Adrishta Vigrahat Shantat Shivat Paramakaranat Dhvani Rupam Vinishkrantam Shastram Paramadurlabham. Very simple it is, it seems to, but it is a very complicated shloka. Paramakaranat, the absolute cause. Shiva, from the Shiva who is absolute cause. If Shiva is the absolute cause in the sense, see, for pot, the cause is clay. For clay, the atoms of clay, earth, the earth atoms. For earthly atoms, Shiva is the cause. Okay. For cloth, thread. For thread, cotton. For cotton, the atoms. For atoms, Shiva. So, whichever way you see, the final cause is a Shiva. That Shiva, if he is the final cause, then he should be in a very active state, in a turbulent state, in a changing state. For that he says, Shantat, he is one who is at peace with himself. Even though he is the cause for everything, he is in peace with, not at peace, he is in peace. Now, how do you know that? Have you seen that state? Adrishta Vigrahat, one whose nature, one whose form, Vigraha means form, one whose form is not something which can be perceived. He is one beyond the sense organ perception. That is why we call him aprameya. So, from that Shiva came this Shastra. Shastram Vinishkrantam, came this Shastra. How did this come in? So Shiva started dictating. Oh, listen, Badada, I am going to say you this. Have you not started writing? Right. I am going to say you this, the truth about, no, he didn't use verbal communication in the form of words. Then how did he communicate? Dhvani Rupam. Dhvani Rupam. Dhvani means noise, not sound, not words. Dhvani means aspashta shabda, a non-clear sound. U, E are clear sounds. When you say has a meaning, E has a meaning. It has meaning, a meaningful, though it is a character, it has a meaningful word. A means Indra. In Sanskrit, you say Indra. It refers to Indra also. So there are different meanings for each of these words. E also is Indra. So here we are not talking about a word which has a meaning, word meaning relationship. He says dhvani, a sound, noise. In fact, when you use words and communicate, there is all problems. When you are going to use sound, noise for communicating, how can one understand the truth? How can you say dhvani rupam? Simple. Om. Om is not a word. Om, though is a word, it does not have a meaning. Do you know? Om does not have a meaning. But in fact, all the Shastras go on to explain the meaning of the word Om. Om is a sound, but it is interpreted as a, u, ma, and a silence. Akara, ukara, makara, and silence. A is creation, u is sustenance, makara is dissolution, and the silence is the truth, into which everything merges. Like that, we can go on explaining everything, the gross, subtle, and all that state, causal state, and then the subcausal state, and all that. But in reality, Om is something which is a meaningless word. Like we burp. Similarly, that was a sound which was the first sound that came out of the Brahma, the creator. Brahma means not the four-faced. Shiva is the creator here. When you say Brahma, it is Shiva in the aspect of creation. He is called as Brahma. A man, when he is a son's father or a daughter's father, he is called as father. When he is father's son, he is son. Right? So the name changes according to the activities. So here also, when you say Brahma, it is the same Shiva in the form of the creator. So the Shruti says, the shlokas goes like this: Omkar atha shabdascha do veto brahmanah pura kantham vitva vinirjantau tasmat mangaliko bhau. The Om and Atha, these words came from the throat of Brahmaji. Therefore, they are very auspicious. So whatever that is, that doesn't really matter to us. Now what matters is the dhvani rupa. As we said, even the words with meaning, when we are using it to communicate, we cannot understand. And he is using not word, he is communicating to dhvani. Like in the case of Panini, when Shiva used this drums, this double-sided drum with a thread and a bead. Okay, damaru we call it. Drum, damar, drum. It's all same words. So when he uses the drum, handheld drum, it is going to make noise like this. We all hear, oh, he's playing some beautiful music sound. Oh, good. But Panini heard this and he said, oh, he's giving me a signal. Like a tick, 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 this Morse code sound. We don't, it's just dots and if you write it, it's just dots and lines. That's all for us. If you hear it's tick, 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 that's all. There is no meaning for us. But a person who is able to interpret it, interprets it in a proper form. Similarly, here, this simple drum sound became un rilrik maheshwara sutras, it is called. It became the crux, the base for the sutras written by Panini for Sanskrit. So, dhvani rupam, it may be noise, sound, but that is what is carrying the meaning. How? I said sound itself is difficult to understand. Parama durlabham. It is very difficult to find something like this. Parama durlabham. Dukkhena labhitum yogyam. It is very difficult to understand. Parama, supremely difficult to understand. And it is a very rare Shastra. That Shastra we gained from the Shiva. Okay, we'll see this. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Shishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.